Hey guys, how's it going? Michael Troy here, and today we're looking at Alpha Flight 13 through 16 by John Byrne. Alright, so this is what is it by now? I don't know, part 4 in my Alpha Flight revisit. Alpha Flight just showed up in John Byrne's X-Men Else-One fan fiction on ByrneRobotics.com. North Force by Eric Larson just came out, which is like obviously a huge nod to Alpha Flight. And then we have the new Gamma Flight book from Marvel. So I don't know. I feel like there's alpha buzz in the air. I'm the biggest Alpha Flight fan, so maybe it's just wishful thinking on my part. But anyway, I decided to revisit the Byrne era on Alpha Flight, so in 4-issue increments. So today we're looking at 13, 14, 15, and 16. This is just after Guardian died. It was the big double-sized issue 12 that, there was a lot of build-up to that. Came out back in the day in the internet, before spoilers, so it was truly shocking when Guardian died. Kind of shocking that, Byrne would kill, the leader of the team, and I don't know, I guess it kind of made sense. It was good reading. Whatever, I love Guardian. He has the coolest costume in comics, and he needs to come back in a big way with that same costume. So anyway, here's issue 13. I mean, this was exciting when it came out. Anytime a member of the X-Men or Wolverine is appearing in a John Byrne book, that's always exciting. John Byrne notoriously loves Wolverine. I just noticed, it's funny because the coloring was so limited and everything back then, but I love that he just has bright yellow gloves on. I mean, are these like the yellow rubber gloves that your mom used to wash dishes with? Hopefully not. Anyway, okay, sucker, the only way to get to the lady is through me. Completely unnecessary cover caption, but I'll take it. You can see they always put in the names of their cronies in the graveyard on the gravestones. Al Milgrom, Bill Sienkiewicz, John Byrne, the artist of the cover. And of course, Wolverine looks so cool. I love Wolverine's like sort of Western cowboy look that Byrne used to give him. And anyway, so this opens with a Guardian's funeral, which is not really happening, as you'll see in a second. But what a great moody scene. I love when John Byrne gets like artistic like this and does like, darker kind of stuff. And like this whole nightmare sequence of Guardian's funeral is very cool. John Byrne's such an excellent storyteller, proving the point that a good comic book storyteller should be able to you should be able to look at a page and know what's going on without any captions. Basically, the job if the artist is to render the writer irrelevant, but of course they're relevant. I mean, come on, especially if they're working together. But you know what I mean, like it shouldn't be confusing. You should know what's going on. Like aside from being able to draw pretty pictures, you should be able to tell the story too. And I love that John Byrne's always doing little experimental things, and I guess something he did here that wasn't really commonplace at the time was putting no borders around the panels. So I like that little John Byrneism there. It's funny, even in a dream sequence, everyone's acting to character. Heather reaches out to Jean Paul, and he flies away, so obviously showing he's more upset about Guardian's death than his jerkiness would let you believe. Very cool. Wolverine just standing in the background by the tree. Can't smoke in comics anymore, but Wolverine always smoked. I guess the justification for making Wolverine smoke is that with his healing factor, he would never get cancer from it. So, whatever. Wolverine's still cool without a cigar, right? I mean, anyone rocking a cowboy hat and a bolero tie like that, you gotta love it. So it's funny because of course, when I first read this, I was like such a huge Alpha Flight fan, and I didn't necessarily know that it was a dream at first, but I should have known. It takes up quite a bit of the book, but that's cool. And then this fire demon burns Wolverine's face, and we don't get to see it happen because he's coming after Heather. I guess she felt a little guilty that she walked in on him trying to take off his exploding costume too late, and he blew up. I mean, was it her fault he died? Probably. But we'll never know for sure. Michael, two young men. Heather not taking the death of her husband well. I mean, they were only like 17 when they met. Gross, right? So, and he was much older. No scandal there. Something that shows up a lot in John Byrne comic books. I love it. So smart. Alec looked into Shaman's pouch, and no mortal can look into the pouch without going insane. So he kind of went insane, and until he figures out what to do with them, Shaman just shrunk down his size and put him in the same pouch to carry him around. That made him turn crazy. Love that so much. So I don't know what Heather's doing. I mean, I guess they're trying to get Alpha Flight back together or something. You know, the whole thing with Alpha Flight's first issue is that they were defunded by Department H, and Canada wasn't footing the bill anymore for the superhero program. So what are you going to do? So they decided to just get together when they felt like it. I pointed this out last time, but I love the comic, sort of tools of like storytelling. Like this is a flashback sequence, so they're using like a more monochromatic palette to sort of indicate that. And also something that they would do too is like the borders would be different. Usually they'd be a little rounded, but they're thicker here, but still different nonetheless. Just sort of telling the history of what's happening and how Alpha Flight will handle moving forward. A lot of talking heads this issue, not anything super exciting happening, but hey, we got Wolverine in a nightmare dream sequence where Guardian comes back to life, so you have that. This is a good, I love all the little epilogues and things that they would always put in comic books back in the day to get you to come back for the teasers for the next month. Cool John Byrne art he did a lot of art for Marvel period, but I guess because he was so fast and popular that, you know, they used him as much as they could. And thank God, because I feel like we have so much great Byrne art to look at. But this is fun, little subscription ad. Enclosed is $21 for 4 titles. Could you imagine? That's like 4-year subscriptions for $21. I'll take it. That's why comics used to be so much more popular, because you could afford them back then. Okay, so Alpha Flight number 14. Interesting, I just noticed I was looking for Byrne's signature in here. I feel like that is something that he would have done, but he put it in the bubble here. And so, once again, because of the limited colors, and you want your covers to pop, even though she's not wearing a pink bra and yellow jeans inside the book, on the cover she is. I kind of love this POV. It's like underneath the water, but you can still see like the surface, and you can see Puck sort of looking after her as she's being pulled under by whatever lurks in Lake Ontario. I'm from the Midwest, so I'm quite familiar with the Great Lakes. I say that like I swam in all of them or something. Beautiful splash page. I love this image of Snowbird. Snowbird's like such a cool character. I just feel like there could have been so much more explored in all of these great characters that we got in Alpha Flight, and the first 28 issues are just so sacred to me. I love them. So John Byrne, creator, writer, artist, penciler, inker. Andy Yonkis is coloring. Michael Higgins, letterer. Denny O'Neil is the editor. You've heard that name before, eh? Cool stuff with Shaman and Snowbird here. It's funny, I don't know where Byrne went to for his fashion references, but I always felt like he did like interesting looking normal people in their civilian clothing. More talking heads. I mean, this is like, I think that was sort of the appeal to me. I don't know if that's how it was for everybody, but Alpha Flight always had this quirky soap opera kind of Twin Peaks, Stephen King kind of vibe to it to me. So I always like that. You know, I have to say, I guess Heather does show like her natural leadership ability when something's going down and she just goes ahead and strips down to her bra and jumps in the water. I mean, she doesn't have any superpowers or suit yet. And John Byrne never ever wanted her to be in the Guardian suit, and I agree with that. I don't think she ever should have been, but whatever. To each their own. Oh my god, I love this sequence. Aurora's and North Star are my favorite outfits, so I thought that this was so cool. Her split personality disorder was always like so like prevalent. Like, I mean, at least you expect it. She's taking a shower and you go to wipe away the what do they call that? The mist or whatever on the window. God, I clearly I didn't have my coffee today. Oh, I didn't drink coffee. Steam. It's called steam. And then she clears away the steam, and then there's her alter ego like coming out to attack her. And I just always love the way John drew this toilet here. It's funny because obviously you can't show nudity in comic books, so it's like you have to carefully choreograph the page so that all the naughty bits are covered up. You got her hand here, the towel here. Perfection. But she's coming unglued. She really needs to take care of the split personality. Poor thing. Puck is always a favorite, right? Everybody loves Puck. I mean, look how much goodness. So we're reading this Alpha Flight ad, and then you get an ad for what else was going on. West Coast Avengers, hell yeah. Power Pack, X-Men, Mohawk Storm. I mean, come on. It was a good time for comics. I always like the little sleeve addition to Marina's costume that Byrne put in there. Now that her and Neymar are together. I think her and Neymar as a couple was kind of fun. That made sense, right? Elizabeth Two Young Men, the daughter of Shaman, introducing Talisman, one of my favorite Alphans. Love her. So that was issue 14. Now we have 15. I mean, if you remember way back in issue 2, Marina showed her like psychotic side, so I guess she's going full tilt boogie this time around. I always thought this was a fun cover. I mean, of course, anytime you have Neymar by John Byrne, what's not to love? More Snowbird. Oh, this is, I think, when Bob Wiacek came on as anchor for a while. And I really love Bob Wiacek's, welcome to Bob Wiacek anchor. He's like one of the unsung anchors, I think, of comic books. I mean, you've seen so much of his inking art and you just don't even know it. Like, he inked Paul Smith on X-Men, which was so fantastic. I mean, he's just done a ton of stuff. And I really like... he didn't used to be my favorite anchor on Byrne, but now that I've seen a ton of John Byrne's like pencils, I feel like he's very faithful to Byrne's pencils, and like even though he's not this, it's not the same like how John would ink his own work. It's very faithful to the actual pencils, if that makes any sense. It looks like as close to what the pencils might be, even more so than Byrne, perhaps, because it feels a little more faithful. You know, like when you're inking your own art, you take artistic license and little flourishes and things, but, you know, when Wiacek is inking Byrne's, he's definitely referencing the pencils. And who knows what she saw, because one subplot later, and here she's coming out all PO'd out of the water. Maybe she saw a duck with a plastic soda can wrapper around its neck or something and got really mad. So here's Aurora recovering from her battle with her split personality in the mirror, and she's like, screw this noise, I'm gonna cut my hair. You know, cutting your hair is very therapeutic, especially if you're cutting out a split personality. I love this image of Neymar. He's just such a classic, great Neymar. It's funny because that's sort of the deformed head. You know how sometimes Neymar has like the big triangle head and sometimes he doesn't. So that's sort of like a happy medium, I feel, right there. John consciously chose not to use the triangle head in the Neymar series because he felt it was a little too distracting from what I remember. Here comes Elizabeth looking for Shaman, and she's like, hold it, no hugs, no touching, this isn't a cheerful reunion. So they have a contentious relationship, and it just gets worse after she joins the team. And that's something I felt like could have been more explored by Byrne before he jumped ship and went to the Hulk. But hey, he said he ran out of ideas and told everything he wanted to tell. I say BS. I think there could have been more. In my world, I'd like to think that Byrne secretly loves Alpha Flight, the master. It's so funny, you just don't get classic great villains like this anymore. And that was issue 15, so we're going to round this episode off with issue 16, the conclusion to the Neymar Marina Master Debacle. I always love the design of this fish ship. I think it's cool looking. I think it's funny. Like, could you imagine just seeing that underwater? I don't know. Crazy. John Byrne just draws the best, like, spaceships and tech and machinery and all that stuff. Fun stuff for me. Marina's looking really, showing her true colors there. And it's not pretty. Remember the Dazzler graphic novel? Loved it. I'll have to cover that sometime because, yes, I am a Dazzler fan. And I'm not afraid to admit it. Box. I always like Box, too. See, even the additions that Byrne made to the team, like Box and Talisman, were a lot of fun. So, I don't know what happened, why he didn't feel inspired or just likes to be a creep about it, but I think Alpha Flight is freaking awesome, and I love them. The weirdness of Marina, right? How crazy. I always love this page too. There's nothing better when the villain takes off his helmet to reveal like some grotesquerie or something. Great splash page there, Byrne. So Marina has kind of a sad ending. I guess she kind of learned the truth about herself and it wasn't pretty. And then she just went off into the ocean. I am only a monster. Poor Marina. I'd like to see more explored with her. Guardian is dead. Who will lead Alpha Flight? Alpha Flight number 17. Another guest appearance by Wolverine. Dun dun dun. Can't wait for that. Alright, guys. So that was another episode revisiting some Alpha Flight by Byrne. I have to say that wasn't the most exciting 4 issues, perhaps. I mean, I don't know. Maybe it's good that Marina didn't really stick around that much. Anyway, thanks for watching. Please subscribe to my channel, share my content, hit like, all that good stuff, and I'll bring you some more soon. Alright, take it easy, guys. Thanks.